This is In the Money with Angela Miles.
A lot's happening with the social media trade. Hello everybody, I'm Angela Miles. I'll get to LinkedIn and more, but first a look at the jobs number. 115,000 jobs were added to payrolls. The unemployment rate drops to 8.1%. And it was interesting to note though that even though today's numbers were mediocre, jobs were added in the previous month. So that was a bit of a good sign for the market. Meantime, construction continues to lag, and that's where traders really want to see more jobs added. Well, LinkedIn has had a blockbuster trade so far. The company came out with earnings after the close last night, blew it away with revenues as well as earnings profits, and right now it looks like the stock is trading right around $119. The straddle price for the weekly set to expire today is $3.20 on the 120 straddle. Now that's an indication, even though the stock has had about a 9% move today, traders still think there's a possibility there could still be maybe a 3% move left in that stock. And keep in mind that straddle is a put and a call, so that move could be either up or down on LinkedIn. Facebook, by the way, it looks like we have an IPO range. The stock could be somewhere between $28 and $35. It looks like that company is going to be valued above $90 billion. That's huge. It's going to be the biggest IPO. That's why I keep talking about it, and trust me, we'll let you know when the options are ready to trade. Well, Groupon is another one of those big social media kind of stocks. It's the daily deal company, but this stock has not done as well as LinkedIn by any stretch of the imagination. It looks like those May 12 calls are quite active. Those are in the traditional options, but the real story here is the volatility for those May 12 calls is at 130. On the put side, the put volatility right now is right around 170 because the stock is tough to borrow. So not a lot of options paper flowing yet on Groupon, but the volatility is spiking up. Moving on to First Solar, which also came out with earnings at a mixed earnings review. It looks like right now that stock is already at a trading range today of between $17 and $19. The May 18 calls and puts are active in the weeklies that expire today. The May traditional calls are right around the 20 strike. That's where traders seem to want to get in at the 20 strike, so they're thinking maybe this stock will have a significant bounce back there. Yahoo, got to talk about this one. The big news came out last night from a hedge fund that the CEO, Scott Thompson, who's running Yahoo right now, apparently does not have a computer science degree, as was first reported by Yahoo. A bit of a problem for the company. The stock maybe not so much. Right now the stock is trading right around $15 or so. It's down slightly. It looks like there's a little bit of activity with some June 15 put buying, but most of the traders seems to be going way out, maybe even into the outer months like October, where the volatility is relatively low. It's right around a 28, and there's some 16 call buying in October on Yahoo. Berkshire Hathaway, of course, big Warren Buffett having his weekend gala. It looks like the stock is getting a little bit more of attention just because that's going on. In the options, it looks like the May 82 calls are getting some action, as well as the June 85 calls. By the way, the volatility is extremely low on that one. It's right around 16. I will be back with trader Andrew Keene after this quick break. It's been a busy week for Andrew Keene, president of KeeneOnTheMarket.com. There's been some great trades in this market this week. What happened to you with Green Mountain? You were talking about a put spread, and basically it sounds like you might have nailed it with this one.
Yeah, I actually ended up buying the straddle instead of buying a put spread. I thought it would make a big move. It's made big moves in the past, and we've seen a lot of these stocks coming into earnings with the straddle prices being too low. Apple was too low, Amazon was too low, so Netflix was too low. So I bought that at the money straddle. There's the 49 straddle in the May weeklies. I paid $7.55 for it.
Oh,
it
nice.
got slammed. I was the first guy to jump on board, buy stock at 32.5. You know, the straddle, I turned my $7.55, I bought the straddle into $16.50, which is good, you know, and then it went down, cratered down to this 25 level, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity there, so, you know, I bought stock against my puts, so the trade's over, and then I did a similar one in LinkedIn. I bought that the money straddle on LinkedIn for like $13.15. That one, you know, I sold stock against it. That was a small small loser, but the Green Mountain one was a huge winner.
Yeah.
Huge movement. I thought LinkedIn we'd get a bigger movement. To be honest, the straddle was around $13, and we've been seeing huge movements. Like usually the January quarter we don't see as big movements, and in this quarter we see bigger movements. LinkedIn didn't move as much as I thought it would.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, now let's talk about Apple as well. Do you have a trade going on there?
I actually don't, and I talk about it in my live trading room. I always try to sell Apple weekly put spreads, and I haven't done it since earnings. And Apple scares me. You know, I had the call fly on that went to $28. I bought it for $5. Went to 28, and I took that off. That was last week's expiration, and I always look to get long Apple in some way. But the momentum and the pressure is so much to the downside. Apple's down almost $10 today. Every day it's down. I think it's been down like 6 or 7 straight days. I kind of want to see some buying pressure first before I can get into a long position. I am flat Apple now for probably the first time in a year because I'm always long in some form. Apple scares me for some reason. You know, if I just look at it as a stock, I look at it as a chart, you know, and I talked about it. Once it got above 600, everybody that bought it at 600, you know, okay, thank you, I got it back to break even, get me out of the stock, and now it's selling off way lower, and I'm always looking to get long, just not yet, and when the timing's right, I will tell you.
Oh, I know you will. And what are you watching for next week? I'm curious.
I actually haven't looked at all the earnings for next week. I was trading so many earnings. I had like 5 earnings plays on overnight. Priceline, boom, I'll play that. I'll probably buy a put fly. I know the straddle's around, I think it's around $70. So I'll play price lines for earnings. So there's every stock, I mean, I was trading some stocks last night that I looked at the chart, looked at how much has moved the last 4 quarters. ROVI is one of them. Didn't even know what the company did. Traded it, worked out well. So
all right, Andrew.
All I need is a chart, a little option flow, and
You're good to go. Do a quick question. Facebook, you know, is eventually going to come to the market. Will you be a player on that one?
I mean, Facebook is going to be interesting because whatever it IPOs at, it's obviously going higher. We saw Tilly IPO today, and that's way higher. So whatever the price, you know, they're initiating 28 to 33. It will be higher initially. I mean, if I always say that. Everybody asks me what stock I could get. If I could short any stock forever, I would be short LinkedIn, and that's like blowing up, but I'm not short it. So Facebook, you know, the valuation doesn't make sense. Amazon valuation doesn't make sense, but if there's more buyers than sellers, the stock will go higher.
You know, and I have to be honest, of all LinkedIn, Facebook, it's Twitter that I'm on the most, and I know you are too. We tweet all day long talking about options news, so be sure and follow us there. You can find them at Keene on the Market.
Keene on Market.
Keene on Market. I'm Angie Miles, and of course there's good old CBOE TV. Check it out. That's a wrap for us. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Angela Miles. Have a great weekend. Cinco de Derby. I'll see you on Monday.